Welcome back everybody to another update video. So we've got a fair few amount of films to look at today because there's been plenty of sales on it, the likes of HMV, 101 Films, and yeah, I finally got another one from Arrow Academy. So yeah, we're going to look at a couple of more standard ones that I got that weren't particularly on sale, or they were by only a minimal amount. And yeah, the first of which is the last of the Ray Harryhausen involved films in terms of special effects, and that is Earth versus the Flying Saucers. And yeah, it's quite an old Blu-ray. It's from 2008, so I highly anticipate that this will get a re-release at some point, especially since Ray Harryhausen films have been getting more appreciated and more re-releases. We've seen from Indicator with their 2 box sets, and then they also release the Sinbad films on their label. So yeah, I hope this gets a re-release at some point. But yeah, it's still a decent Blu-ray as it is, and you also get it in colour if that's what you want, but it looks better in black and white, which is what it's also available in. And yeah, then we have Capricorn 1, which has a really good cast on it. It's got Elliot Gould, James Brolin, O.J. Simpson, Karen Black, Telly Savalas, and it's also written and directed by Peter Hyams, who is one of my favourite directors from the 70s and 80s, and a couple of films from the 90s as well. And yeah, really fantastic little conspiracy thriller this is, with plenty from the 70s to be honest. And yeah, should look good in Blu-ray as well from Network, who I've only ever had one other from before, which was Hell Drivers, which again was really rather nicely done. And then we also have another film from Second Sight, Scanners, from David Cronenberg. This is one of my favourites from him. It's got a lot of, the kind of psychic elements that were really rather popular in the late 70s and early 80s. Like The Dead Zone or Carrie and stuff like that. So yeah, really good. The only other problem I have with these Second Sight standard releases are the rears don't look very much inspired. They look like somebody's ripped off a DVD or Blu-ray and then put their own version on the back. But still, it should be a good transfer. Second Sight usually do that. And then we also have another one from Eureka. This was supposed to be delivered alongside Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte and a couple of others that I got recently. But regardless, it's Twilight's Last Gleaming. Fantastic film from Robert Aldrich. And yeah, it's also got Burt Lancaster and Richard Widmark in it. And yeah, it's a fantastic film. It's a little bit long, nearly 2.5 hours long, but it makes the most of that time. And yeah, I'm not actually sure if I've shown you this before, but if I have, then I'm sorry. But yeah, it's a cracking film, and I really highly recommend it. And yeah, it's easily one of the more overlooked films from the 70s, and one of my favourites from Aldrich. And then we have the one that I've been desperate to get from Arrow Academy, but it went out of stock on HMV's website for a while. But luckily it was in store, and that is Hangmen Also Die from Fritz Lang. And yeah, I've not seen it yet, but since it is Fritz Lang, I'm sure it'll be a cracking effort. And yeah, like with so many other Arrow films, you get double disc, so Blu-ray and DVD. And yeah, should be a really spectacular film. Also with Twilight's Last Gleaming, you also get double disc as well. Sorry, I forgot to show you that. You also get a booklet, but it's not particularly lengthy, but it does go through some of the film. And yeah, then we have a film that I wasn't particularly planning on getting, but it is one of my favourites from the 2010s, and it's certainly one of my favourite foreign language films from the 2010s, and that is The Handmaiden, which is done in this really nice box set. It's got really nice gold accents. I hope you can see that. My camera isn't the best, so I do apologise. But yeah, really nicely done box work there. And you get the theatrical and the extended cut of the film. I've only seen the theatrical cut at 145 minutes long, I think it is. 146 minutes long, whereas the director's cut, or the extended cut as it's called on here, is 168 minutes long. So an extra 22 minutes, but I'm sure it'll add to the film regardless. And yeah, it's a really good psychosexual thriller. Really does feel like something like Basic Instinct or Fatal Attraction, but set in 1930s Korea. So it's got a really good period detail going on with it as well. So it's not just a film made at the in the time that it's made at. It's not set in 2016, but set in 1930s Korea, which yeah, really sets it apart from other similar films. And then we got a couple more from 101 Films, who have been really been ramped up recently in terms of the films that I've bought from them. But sadly, there aren't all that many more to get from them because they have quite a limited range of films at the moment. But yeah, the first of them is Late Phases from 2014, and this is a cracking werewolf film. Basically deals with a blind war veteran in a retirement community, and he's got to fight off werewolves. He initially survives one attack, and then he's basically trying to set up and prepare for whatever's going to come next. Yeah, it's standard release, so you only get the single Blu-ray, but yeah, it's a cracking film and easily one of my favourite horror films of recent times. And then a rather gimmicky kind of film. It's not the best B-movie from the 50s by any means, but I do really rather like it, and it is The Mole People. So yeah, I think that title pretty much explains everything. It's only 77 minutes long, but it does have John Agar in it, who was in a bunch of the 50s films from that period. He was in Revenge of the Creature, which was the second film in the Creature series after Creature from the Black Lagoon. He was also in Tarantula, and yeah, he does a really good job in this as well. You get 2 discs, so the Blu-ray and the DVD, and you also get the a poster as well, which is so common with these B-movie films from 101, because we've already got the Alligator People and Tarantula and The Land Unknown. I forgot about the title then. And yeah, really nice poster. Nothing special, it's just the cover art on the box, and it's not particularly thick, but it's really nice to get a poster with these low-rent B-movies that otherwise have been quite left to go by their own devices, really. They really aren't all that really nicely appreciated anymore. And yeah, then finally we have 2 more films to add to my Criterion collection. One of these I've been looking forward for a while, but it's rarely ever been on sale, but it finally was, and it is Night of the Living Dead. This is for the longest time been only £18, which is a little bit expensive for me for a Criterion film. I don't like paying full price for these because they generally don't have much to set them apart from other similar boutique labels, but to get 20% off thanks to HMV did really entice me to get it. So yeah, obviously the first part of the original Dead trilogy, then came Dawn of the Dead, and then Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead is my favourite, but there's no doubting that Night of the Living Dead was the big influence when it comes to zombie films. But I think Dawn of the Dead had even more of an influence, because after that you had a whole host of Italian knockoffs. But you also get a really nice big sheet of words about the film by Stuart Clorens. You also get the credits, and you get acknowledgements, production credits, special thanks. Yeah, so detailing the film, and you also get a image of one of the characters on the back there, which is nice. I wasn't expecting that, so yeah, that's good. And yeah, it comes in this kind of case, so cardboard case with some plastic insert just to keep the films in place. And yeah, you get the bonus disc as well, which has, what does it have on it? I didn't look at this. You get new digital 4K restoration, supervised by director George A. Romero before he sadly passed away, as well as co-screenwriter John A. Russo, sound engineer Gary R. Striner, and producer Russell W. Striner. So yeah, you got a bunch of people that worked on the film supervising the restoration, which is always a good sign. Also, new restoration of the monoaural soundtrack, supervised by Romero and Striner again, and you get a never before presented work print edit of the film, new program featuring filmmakers Frank Darabont, Guillermo del Toro and Robert Rodriguez, never before seen 16mm dailies reel, new program featuring Russo and the commercial and industrial film production company Wend Keane, Night of the Living Dead filmmakers got their start, audio commentaries, archival interviews, interview programs, all sorts of new interviews between the Striner brothers, yeah, and an essay by film critic Stuart Clorens that I showed off before. So yeah, nice release there. I wouldn't have bought it at full price because yeah, there's not massively loads there in terms of extras, but regardless, really nicely done release. And finally, a film that has pretty much become my favourite film of 2021 that I haven't seen before this year started, and it is 1955's Kiss Me Deadly, which again is directed by Robert Aldrich, who we've already seen with Twilight/Gleaming and a bunch of other films recently. But yeah, this is a fantastic film noir. starts out like an atypical film noir from the time, or a typical film noir from the time, but even though that part of it is really well produced and really engrossing, it's the final act that really seals the deal for this being a classic. And yeah, proper 5-star film, and the cast are really good. But yeah, the final act is really what nails this film. Got a single release, but a really nice booklet which makes it look like a magazine from the time. And yeah, I'll just show you off a little bit of it. But yeah, you really got to see this without knowing much about it. I didn't know anything about this film before watching it outside of the director. So yeah, you really have to see it to really believe it, quite frankly. So yeah, there's the first opening page. Got your leading man there. And yeah, it's a fantastic film. You've even got words by Robert Aldrich under the title "You Can't Hang Up the Meat Hook." And yeah, all sorts of other words about it. And it's really nice thick paper as well, so it doesn't feel cheap. And it talks about the transfer as well, about the kind of aspect ratio that you should expect from the film when playing it. And yeah, all really nicely done. So yeah, cracking film really. The images and stuff really don't sell the film on what it really is about, but regardless, it's a fantastic film. And I highly recommend getting it. And yeah, this also was 20% off, like Night of the Living Dead was from HMV. But I would have got this regardless because, like I said, it is currently my favourite pre-2021 film I've seen so far. So yeah, fantastic array of films there. Only one that I haven't watched, but technically two if you count the fact I've not seen the extended cut of The Handmaiden. But regardless, superb array of films, really nice, array of films as well. We've not got anyone that's, typical of each other in terms of the genre. We've got a zombie film, we've got B-movie, we've got sci-fi, got World War II, we've got film noir, horror, thriller, all sorts. Really nice collection that I'm building up at the moment, and yeah, really, really proud of it. But like I said, in probably one of the other update videos, I do not buy films that I do not like, or at least do not appreciate. It's purely about the films that I like and enjoy. I'm not buying films to meet a collection number, because I know plenty of people go through the Eureka numbers that they have on here and want every single one from 1 to whatever number they're up to at the moment, which really isn't something that suits me down to the ground, to be honest, because there's going to be plenty of films in there that I'm not going to enjoy or have no particular interest in watching, or may well just feel a bit middling about. So yeah, I have no interest in making sure I have every film from a boutique label. I do not have every film from Arrow Academy or Our Video, and I'm certainly not going to make that the case for Eureka or 101 Films or anything else. So yeah, nonetheless, thanks for watching. I hope you've bought some good films in the recent sales. I'd like to know what you have bought if you have. But nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.